welcome back to another tutorial. So this one was actually requested on Facebook, and this is my version of Caledonia, originally by Dougie McLean, but mine is a lot more like the Amy MacDonald version, so I hope you enjoy. So the version that I'm going to be teaching is the Amy MacDonald version. The guitar should sound very similar to her studio version of the song. So that means that for this tutorial you are going to need a capo. So what this does is it sits on the neck of the guitar and it changes the key of the song. So for this version it is going to go on the 8th fret. If you don't have a capo, I would really recommend that you get one, as they are so useful. I personally sing a lot of songs that are originally by men, so a capo is really useful to put the song into a key that I'm able to sing that's not too low for me. So I'll include an Amazon link in the description. This is not an ad, but I'll include a link. They're not very expensive and they're just super useful. So now to get into the actual tutorial. So I've been telling old stories and singing old songs that make me think about where I... So now that we've got the capo on the 8th fret, the strings should sound like this. So as I said, for this song you only need 3 basic chords for this song, and then you just play those in a slightly different order but just repeated throughout the song. So the first chord we're going to need is a D. So you start on the 3rd string and play that open. Then you put your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the bottom string. And it should sound like this down here. So the second chord that we are going to need is the A chord. So the normal way to play this would be 2nd string open, index finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, middle finger right behind that on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, ring finger again right behind that on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then the 6th string open. But when we are playing so far down the neck of the guitar, the frets get a lot smaller and the strings are a little bit closer together. So for some people it may be easier to just use your index finger and press down on just those 3 strings. I always use my middle finger behind it so that I can get more strength on it. It's just a little bit easier to get the sound sounding cleaner, but if you find it easier, if you are just a beginner, then the 3 fingers like this, it will sound fine, it's just a little bit harder to get the clean sound out of it. So the 3rd and final chord that we will need is the G chord. So this is played with your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, the index finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and then open, and then I always play this with my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string and my little finger right behind that on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and it should sound like this. However, it is totally okay to just play it with just the ring finger on the 6th string and only play like that instead of like this. It's totally okay, I just like the way it sounds with both. It's just a little bit of a thicker sound is all. So for the verse, the chords just stay the same the full way through, and that is just D, A, D, G. And you play that 4 times for each verse. You play that pattern 4 times every time you're singing a verse. D, A, D, G. Okay? D. I don't know if you can see changes that have come over me. Pretty straightforward, you just repeat that for the verses. So the chorus is where things get a little bit more complicated because it switches up the order of the chords for parts of it. However, it just starts off the same way as the verse with the same pattern. So for the first half of the chorus we've got D, A, D, G, and then it's flipped G, D, A, D. Okay? D, A, D, G, G, D, A, D. That's the first half of the chorus. Now for the second half, again we've got D, A, D, G, and then to finish this time it's simply G, A, D. Okay? D, A, D, G, G, D, A, D, D, A, D, G, G, A, D. Let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. So one thing that is important to remember before we get into the strumming pattern, I just want to explain to you the time signature of this song. So it's slightly different in that most songs are played in beats of 4, whereas this song, all of the chords are played for beats of 3. It doesn't change much else about the song, it doesn't play the way you'll be strumming, it's just something to keep in mind. So it would just sound something like this, okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's all you need to remember about the time signature. So the strumming pattern for this song, thankfully, is super easy and it's played the exact same way for the whole song. It never changes. So the strumming pattern that you're going to need to remember is simply down, down, up, down, up. That's all you need. You play that twice for each chord before moving on to the next chord, and then it's just the exact same way for the whole song. So played really slowly, it would sound something like this. Remember for the strumming pattern. So for those of you that don't have a capo, I'll just very quickly show you what chords to play when we're playing up here. So instead of the D, we will be using an A chord. Instead of the A chord, we will be using an E major. And then instead of the G chord, we will be using a D major. So 2 of those are the same, they're just played in a slightly different order. So A instead of D, E instead of A, D instead of G. And I'll throw in the diagrams there as well. Okay? If I should become a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia, you're the best friend I've ever had. So we've come to the end of another tutorial. Hopefully that was not too hard to follow. I know there's some parts of it that sound a little bit complicated, but it's a lot easier than it sounds. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, or you can message me on Facebook at LilyFmusic. So if you liked this tutorial, I would really appreciate a like, a comment, a share, and if you want to see more tutorials or some more covers, you can subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. And to all of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean the world to me. And if you have any songs that you want to hear or any songs that you want to learn, please let me know in the comments, let me know on Facebook, let me know on Instagram. I'll put all of the links below. Thanks again.